It was obviously a joke. Like, so obviously a joke that I'm genuinely baffled by everyone's reaction to this. Everyone has celebrity crushes. Everyone. It's completely normal and accepted, and part of being a functioning human being who's capable of finding people attractive. Pretending otherwise is dishonest. I didn't say I actually cheated. I didn't say I was planning to cheat. I didn't say I had his number, or had met him, or had any actual connection. I said, if I ever had the chance. If. Hypothetical. Conditional. Not real. Not planning. Just acknowledging a fantasy scenario that will never, ever happen in reality. He knows it would never happen. He knows Travis Scott isn't knocking on my door. He knows I'm not going to randomly run into him at the grocery store or have some meet cute at a coffee shop. The entire premise is impossible. That's what makes it safe to joke about. That's what makes it harmless. But apparently my husband doesn't understand the difference between fantasy and reality. Men are so insecure about famous people. It's genuinely embarrassing. They can't handle their partners acknowledging that attractive celebrities exist. They take it as a personal attack, instead of just accepting it as a normal part of human nature. The fragility is honestly pathetic when you think about it. I swear, people act like fantasies are crimes now. Like thinking someone else is attractive is equivalent to betrayal. Like you're not allowed to have thoughts or feelings about anyone except your partner, or you're somehow being unfaithful. When did we become this puritanical about normal human attraction? I was just being playful, modern, honest. The kind of girlfriend who doesn't lie about finding celebrities attractive because that's what real, authentic relationships look like. The kind of person who's secure enough to acknowledge reality, instead of pretending I only have eyes for one person. That's maturity. That's honesty. That's what everyone claims they want until you actually give it to them. She speaks like she's enlightened, like she's figured out something others haven't, like she's evolved beyond petty jealousy and insecurity, not realizing at all that she crossed a line she can't uncross. Not understanding that what she thinks is honesty sounds like disrespect to everyone else. Before we get into it, don't forget to like and subscribe, and hit hype to boost this episode. Drop a comment below with your city or country. I'm always curious where viewers are joining from. It happens late at night on a Friday. We're on the couch, both tired from the work week, just decompressing. I've got my phone out scrolling through concert clips from Travis Scott's latest show. Someone I follow on social media was there and posted videos. The production looks insane. The energy is incredible. I'm watching them, hyped up, laughing at the crowd going crazy. My husband's half watching TV, half on his own phone. Relaxed evening, normal, the kind we've had 1,000 times. Nothing that would indicate everything's about to explode. I'm scrolling, watching video after video, getting more excited about the performance, and I just blurt it out. Not thinking, not considering, just saying what comes to mind in the moment. Honestly, if Travis Scott ever looked at me at a concert, yeah, I'd risk it all. I laugh as I say it. Because it's funny, because it's so absurd and impossible that it's safe to joke about. Because I genuinely think he'll laugh too, or roll his eyes or make some comment back. Just normal couple banter, just casual conversation, but he doesn't laugh, doesn't roll his eyes, doesn't make a joke back. Instead, he reaches for the remote and turns the TV off. Slow, deliberate, quiet. The sudden silence is jarring. The room feels different instantly. He turns to me and asks, in this voice I've never heard from him before, "Risk what?" I'm still smiling, still thinking this is light and playful. You know, us, everything. Don't be dramatic about it. More silence. He's just looking at me with this expression I can't read. Not angry, not hurt, something else, something worse. Then he stands up, no warning. Just stands up and walks to our bedroom. I hear him moving around, opening closets, drawers. I'm confused but not worried yet, still thinking this is some kind of reaction that'll blow over. He comes back carrying my suitcase, my large suitcase, the one I use for week-long trips, and I freeze, actually freeze, because this isn't playful anymore. This is something else entirely. He sets the suitcase by the front door. Then he says, in that same calm voice that's somehow terrifying, "If you're willing to risk everything for a fantasy, I won't risk anything for someone who doesn't value reality." I laugh nervously because this has to be a joke. An overreaction, he'll walk back. "Oh my God, you're being insane." It was a joke. A celebrity crush joke. Everyone makes those. He doesn't respond, just walks back to the bedroom. I need to explain this because people are getting the completely wrong idea. It was just celebrity talk, the kind everyone engages in. Scroll through any social media platform and you'll see thousands of people saying the same things about their favorite celebrities. I'd let him ruin my life. No jury would convict me. I'd risk it all. It's standard language, standard behavior. Everyone does that. Girls say things like that all the time. It's how we express appreciation for celebrities we find attractive. It's hyperbolic and exaggerated, and everyone knows it doesn't mean anything literal. It's performance, it's fun, it's bonding over shared celebrity crushes. That's all it is. That's all it's ever been. He's jealous of someone who doesn't even know I exist. That's what this is really about. His insecurity about the fact that I find a famous, successful, talented musician attractive. His inability to separate fantasy from reality. His need to control even my thoughts about people I'll never meet. I casually admit to the audience, because I'm trying to be honest and transparent, that yes, I've joked about celebrity free passes before. Multiple times. It's a normal relationship conversation. If you could have a free pass with any celebrity, who would it be? Everyone has that discussion. It's not controversial. It's standard. I've sent thirst tweets, ironically, on Travis Scott's posts, but ironically, as a joke, the way thousands of other people do. Heart eyes emojis, comments like, "Marry me," or "I'm free on Tuesday." It's playful internet culture. It's not serious declarations of intent. Everyone understands that. Except apparently my husband. I've said I'd faint if I met him. Because I would. Because meeting someone you admire and think is talented is overwhelming. That's a normal reaction. That's what fans do. That's what being a fan means. It doesn't mean I want to cheat. It means I appreciate his work and his persona. I once said, half joking during a conversation with friends, my husband should be grateful he's not famous because then I wouldn't have picked him. It was funny when I said it. Everyone laughed. It was clearly exaggerated for comedic effect. But I guess my husband was there and heard it differently than I intended. None of it meant anything. That's what people don't understand. These are just words, just casual comments, just jokes. They don't reflect my actual values, or my actual commitment, or my actual feelings about my relationship. They're just noise, background chatter, not serious. Looking back now with the clarity that only comes from loss, maybe there were other moments. Things I dismissed as harmless that maybe weren't harmless at all. But at the time, everything felt normal. Everything felt acceptable. Everything felt like the kind of thing everyone does in modern relationships. During our 4th anniversary dinner, I made a joke about how if I'd known Travis Scott would get this famous, I would have tried harder to meet him in college. My husband smiled, but it didn't reach his eyes. I didn't notice. Or I noticed but dismissed it. Thought he was just being sensitive. Thought he'd get over it. At a friend's wedding, someone asked if we were happy together. I said, "He's great, stable, reliable, not exactly exciting, but that's what you get with regular guys." Everyone laughed. My husband was standing right there. I saw his jaw tighten, but I was tipsy and careless and I didn't apologize. Just kept talking about something else like I hadn't just insulted him publicly. I posted on social media constantly about Travis Scott. Concert countdowns, thirst tweets, fan theories. My entire feed became an ode to this celebrity I'd never met. My husband saw all of it. Everyone saw all of it. I was publicly obsessed with another man while being in a committed relationship. But I told myself it was harmless because it was a celebrity, because it was just fan behavior. I remember now, though I didn't think about it at the time, that he stopped showing me affection around 6 months ago, stopped leaving me little notes, stopped planning surprise dates, stopped doing all the things that made me feel special. I thought he was just getting comfortable, getting lazy. I didn't realize he was pulling away, protecting himself, preparing for an end he saw coming long before I did. He tried to talk to me about it once, about 3 months ago, said, "Sometimes I feel like you're not really present in this relationship, like you're always thinking about something else, someone else." I laughed it off, said he was being paranoid, said everyone has celebrity crushes, and it doesn't mean anything, told him to stop being so insecure. The conversation ended. I thought I'd won. Now I realize I'd just delayed the inevitable. Looking back now, maybe there were other moments, things I thought were harmless that maybe added up in ways I didn't realize. But at the time, everything felt normal. Everything felt fine. Everything felt like it was just casual conversation and playful teasing. I once ranked men in 2 categories during a girls' night: real guys versus celebrities. Made a whole list. Put my husband in the real guys category, obviously, but rated him below several celebrities in terms of attractiveness and success and ambition. My friends thought it was hilarious. We were all laughing and making our own lists. It was fun, just harmless fun. I joked that regular guys can't compete with celebrities. Said it multiple times in different contexts. Because it's true, right? Regular people don't have professional stylists and trainers and perfect lighting. They don't have the resources to look like celebrities look. It's not a fair comparison. So acknowledging that isn't an insult. It's just reality. I told friends I settled for stability over excitement. Said I chose my husband because he was reliable and present, not because he was thrilling or impressive. Said I prioritized security over passion. Meant it as a compliment, like, "Look how mature and practical I am." But maybe it didn't sound like a compliment to everyone who heard it. I laughed when friends asked if I'd cheat with a celebrity if I had the chance. Just laughed and said, obviously, like it was the most natural answer in the world, like anyone would make the same choice, like it was so obvious it didn't even need to be stated. My husband was there for at least one of those conversations, maybe more. I don't remember exactly. He heard pieces of all this over time, bits and pieces of comments and jokes and casual dismissals. But he never fought about it, never argued, never told me it bothered him. Just absorbed it all silently, just remembered, just filed it all away until the moment he couldn't anymore. I thought his silence meant acceptance. Thought it meant he understood these were just jokes. Thought it meant we were solid and nothing I said could actually hurt us. I was wrong about all of that. He comes back from the bedroom with my clothes, starts packing them into the suitcase methodically, folding each item, placing them carefully, moving with intention and purpose, not rushed, not angry, just deliberate. I'm standing there watching, still not fully believing this is actually happening. "Stop, you're taking this too far. It was a joke." He doesn't stop, doesn't even slow down, just keeps packing. My favorite jeans, my work clothes, my casual outfits, everything organized like he's thought about exactly what I'll need. He goes back and gets my makeup bag, my toiletries, my hair products, my charger, my favorite hoodie, all the everyday essentials, all the things that make it clear this isn't just a dramatic gesture, this is actual eviction. What he leaves behind breaks me more than what he packs. The wedding photos stay on the walls. The shared memories stay in their frames. Anything sentimental, anything that represents us together, all of it stays. He's not taking our history. He's just removing me from his future. You're being ridiculous. I didn't mean anything by it. I love you. He zips the suitcase, straightens up, looks at me directly for the first time since this started. No, you already decided how much I'm worth. You said it yourself. You'd risk everything. Risk us, risk our marriage, risk our life together. For a celebrity who doesn't know you exist. That tells me exactly where I rank. That's not, you're twisting my words. Am I? You said you'd risk it all. Those were your exact words. Risk it all. Past tense of risk is risked. So you've already made your choice. You've already decided I'm not worth keeping if something better comes along. Then he says the sentence that absolutely destroys me. Fantasies are cheap, commitment isn't, and you just showed me you value the cheap thing more. That was 5 weeks ago, 35 days of living in a nightmare that started with what I genuinely believed was a harmless joke and ended with me actually homeless and completely alone. He actually went through with it, actually made me leave that night. I stood there arguing and pleading and explaining for maybe 20 minutes while he just waited patiently by the door with my suitcase. Eventually, I realized he wasn't going to change his mind. He was serious. This was actually happening. I grabbed the suitcase and my phone and walked out into the night with nowhere to go. It was almost midnight. I was in my pajamas. I hadn't even showered yet, just left exactly as I was because he was clearly done listening to anything I had to say. Drove to my friend Casey's apartment, showed up crying and incoherent. She let me stay that night but made it clear it was temporary. Just tonight until you figure things out. Slept on her couch. Barely slept actually. Just stared at the ceiling replaying everything that happened. I've been couch surfing ever since. Casey for 3 days. My friend Mia for a week. Another friend's spare room for 5 days. Nobody wants me permanently. Everyone has sympathetic looks, but firm boundaries. You can stay for a few days, but then you need to find something else. Translation: your crisis isn't my responsibility. I tried to contact him constantly those first 2 weeks, called from different numbers when he blocked mine, texted from friends' phones, showed up at the apartment twice. He didn't answer the door even though I could hear him inside, just ignored me completely. Finally got through, once using a number he didn't recognize. He answered and immediately said, "Stop calling, stop showing up, we're done, accept it." Then hung up. That was it. That was my entire conversation after 5 years together. He changed the locks. I found out when I tried to let myself in with my key to get more of my stuff. Key didn't work. Had to text him asking when I could pick up my remaining things. He left them in boxes outside the building. Didn't even let me come inside. Just set everything outside like trash waiting to be collected. Our mutual friends have all chosen his side, every single one. They think I was disrespectful, and he was justified. They think joking about cheating is the same as actually cheating. They think I got what I deserved. Nobody wants to hear my explanation. Nobody thinks it was just a celebrity crush is a valid defense. My family is disappointed. My mom said, "Why would you say something like that to your husband? What were you thinking?" My dad just shook his head and said, "Some things you don't joke about." My sister told me, "You basically told him he's not enough. Of course he left." Even my best friend since college said, "I love you, but this one's on you. You can't say you'd risk your marriage for Travis Scott and expect your husband to be okay with that. Come on." I had to move back in with my parents at 32 years old, back in my childhood bedroom, back to living under their roof and their rules. The humiliation is constant. The judgment is unrelenting. Every day is a reminder that I destroyed a good thing through my own stupidity. Work is awful. I can't focus, can't concentrate, can't do even basic tasks without my mind wandering to what happened and whether there's any way to fix it. My boss has noticed, asked if everything's okay. I lied and said I'm going through some personal stuff, but it'll be fine. She gave me a skeptical look but didn't push. I've lost weight, can't eat properly, food tastes like nothing, my stomach is always in knots. People comment on it. You look so thin. Are you eating enough? I make excuses about being stressed or trying a new diet. The truth is too pathetic to admit. I deleted all my Travis Scott content, unfollowed him on everything, deleted the concert videos, removed all my thirst tweets, got rid of every trace of the obsession that destroyed my relationship. Can't even hear his music now without feeling sick. I'm seeing a therapist. Twice a week. She asks hard questions I don't want to answer. Why did you think it was acceptable to tell your husband you'd risk your marriage? What were you hoping to communicate with that statement? Do you understand why he interpreted it as disrespect? I don't have good answers. I thought it was funny. I thought it was harmless. I thought he'd understand it was just a joke. I was wrong about all of it. The worst moment came 3 weeks after he kicked me out. I was desperate. Couldn't accept that it was really over. Couldn't live with not trying one more time. I showed up at the apartment building at 7 p.m. on a Tuesday. Waited in my car until I saw his lights on. Then I went up and knocked. Stood there for 10 minutes knocking and calling his name. Other neighbors came out to see what was happening. I was making a scene, making myself look crazy, but I didn't care. He finally opened the door. Not all the way, just enough to talk through. His face was blank, no emotion, no anger, no sadness, just nothing. Please, I said, can we just talk? I need you to understand it was a joke. I didn't mean it the way it sounded. I understand perfectly what you meant. You meant you'd risk our marriage for a celebrity. That's exactly what you said and exactly what you meant. No, I was joking. I was being hyperbolic. It's not real. It felt real enough to say out loud, real enough to laugh about, real enough that you didn't even hesitate before saying it. I started crying then, really crying, ugly crying in the hallway where anyone could see. I love you. I don't want Travis Scott. I don't want anyone else. I want you. I want us. Please believe me. He just looked at me with those empty eyes. You threw it away the moment you said you'd risk it. You made your choice. Now live with it. You'd really throw us away over a joke. You threw us away when you joked about throwing us away. The difference is, you thought there wouldn't be consequences. Then he said the thing I can't stop hearing. That celebrity doesn't even know you exist, but you managed to ruin the one man who did. Congratulations. He stepped back, closed the door. I heard the deadbolt click, heard it lock with this definitive sound that made it clear he was done. This was final. There would be no more chances. I stood there for another 5 minutes crying and knocking before a neighbor threatened to call the cops. Then I left, drove back to my parents' house sobbing the whole way. That was the last time I saw him, the last time I tried, the last time I let myself hope. So that's where I am now. 5 weeks after a joke I thought was harmless, living in my childhood bedroom at my parents' house, 32 years old sleeping in a twin bed, alone, blocked, abandoned by friends who think I'm disrespectful, watching my entire life disintegrate because of one sentence, and part of me, the stubborn part that refuses to take full responsibility, still wants to say I didn't deserve this. I didn't cheat. I didn't lie. I didn't even message anyone. It was just a celebrity fantasy, a joke, an exaggeration, not a real threat, not a real plan, just words. I keep telling myself he's insecure, that this is his issue, that he overreacted to something harmless, that his inability to separate fantasy from reality isn't my fault, that I shouldn't be punished for being honest about finding someone attractive. But I'm standing here metaphorically, actually literally for a while that night, outside with my suitcase, blocked on his phone, nowhere to go, and I can't keep pretending everyone else is wrong and I'm the only reasonable person. I said I'd risk it all for Travis Scott, not I find him attractive, not I admire his music. I said I'd risk it all. risk our marriage, risk our life together, risk 5 years of history and commitment for a fantasy, for someone who doesn't know I exist and never will. And my husband heard exactly what I said. Heard that he was less valuable to me than an impossible fantasy. Heard that I was willing to throw away our reality for a celebrity encounter that will never happen. Heard that our relationship wasn't worth preserving if something I perceived as better came along. So he made a decision. If I was willing to risk everything, he wouldn't risk anything. Wouldn't risk more time with someone who didn't value him. Wouldn't risk more investment in someone who casually joked about betraying him. Wouldn't risk his heart with someone who treated commitment like a negotiable thing. Fantasies are cheap. He was right about that. They cost nothing. They require nothing. They're just thoughts and feelings that exist in your head without consequence. Or at least I thought they were without consequence. Commitment isn't cheap. It costs time and energy and vulnerability and trust. It requires showing up every day. It requires choosing someone over and over again. It requires valuing them, even when fantasies seem more exciting. And I showed him I valued the cheap thing more. Showed him that my fantasy about Travis Scott was worth mentioning, but my commitment to him wasn't worth protecting. Showed him that I'd risk us for something impossible, but expected him to stay, no matter what I said. I didn't think he'd actually pack my bags. That's the truth. I thought I could say whatever I wanted, and he'd just absorb it, just accept it, just love me enough to overlook it. I thought I had room to be careless because he was committed enough for both of us. But I was wrong, so completely wrong, because commitment only works when both people value it. And I showed him I didn't. I showed him I'd risk it all for something that meant nothing, and he decided that was enough information to make his choice. So now I'm here. Travis Scott still doesn't know I exist. My husband knows I exist but doesn't care anymore. And for the first time in my life, I understand that words aren't just noise. They're choices, they're values, they're declarations about what matters to you, and I declared that a fantasy mattered more than my reality, and my reality heard me, and left. End. Drop a comment below with your thoughts. Did I deserve this? Was it really just a harmless celebrity crush joke, or did I reveal something toxic about my commitment? Can you destroy a relationship by joking about risking it all, or was his response too extreme? I still don't have all the answers, but I'm learning them the hard way. In my childhood bedroom, in a life I destroyed, with a celebrity who doesn't know I exist, and a husband who doesn't want me anymore. And don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit hype for more stories like this. Our lease was in both our names, but he'd been paying the majority of the rent for the past year. After he kicked me out, he offered to buy out my portion and take over the lease entirely. Sent me paperwork through his lawyer. His lawyer. He got a lawyer. That's when I realized this wasn't just a breakup. This was a legal separation of our lives. I signed the paperwork because I didn't have a choice. Couldn't afford the apartment on my own anyway. Couldn't afford a lawyer to contest anything. Just signed away my claim to the home we'd built together for a small settlement that barely covered first and last month's rent on a new place. If I could even find a new place, which I haven't. The financial reality is hitting me hard now. We split everything 50-50 when we were together, but I didn't realize how much I relied on him for the bigger expenses. Rent, utilities, insurance, all of it adds up so fast. My salary barely covers my minimum expenses now. There's nothing left over for deposits or furniture or any of the things I'd need to start over. I've been looking at apartments I can't afford, studios that require first month, last month, and security deposit up front, shared houses with random roommates who seem sketchy or weird, basement apartments with no windows. Each option is more depressing than the last. This is what my life has been reduced to. This is what I traded our comfortable 2-bedroom for. For a joke, my credit card is maxed out. Had to use it for therapy and basic necessities, and all the little expenses that add up when you're suddenly on your own. The interest is accumulating. The minimum payments are barely managing to keep it from going to collections. I'm drowning financially and emotionally, and I don't see a way out. I ran into one of our mutual friends at Target last week, Sarah. She saw me, and I watched her face decide whether to acknowledge me or pretend she didn't see me. She chose to acknowledge me, but barely. "Hey, how are you?" Not a question, a statement, flat, obligatory. "I'm okay, getting by. How are you?" "Good. Look, I'm kind of in a hurry." Did he say anything? About me? About us? She sighed. He's doing really well, actually. Seems lighter, happier. I think leaving you was the right choice for him. That gutted me, hearing that he's happier without me. That I was weighing him down, that removing me from his life improved it. Oh, I'm sorry, I know that's hard to hear, but honestly, you really hurt him. What you said was cruel. Even if you didn't mean it that way, it was cruel. And he deserves better than someone who jokes about throwing away their relationship. Then she left, walked away without a goodbye, left me standing there in the middle of Target trying not to cry next to the paper towels. That's what my life is now. Almost crying in public places because everyone agrees I deserve to lose everything. I've started having panic attacks at work, real ones where I can't breathe, and my vision tunnels, and I think I'm dying. They come out of nowhere. 1 minute I'm fine, the next I'm hyperventilating in the bathroom. My co-workers have noticed. HR called me in for a wellness check, which is really just them documenting my breakdown so they can fire me legally when the time comes. My mum found me crying in the kitchen at 2 a.m. last week, just sobbing over a cup of tea. She sat down and said, "You need to accept that it's over. He's not coming back. You need to grieve and move forward. This isn't healthy." I know, I'm trying. Are you? Because it seems like you're wallowing. You're stuck. And every day you stay stuck is another day you're not building a new life. She's right, I am stuck. But I don't know how to unstick myself. Don't know how to move forward when I don't want to. Don't know how to accept that I destroyed the best relationship I ever had over a stupid joke that wasn't even funny. The therapy sessions are brutal. Every week my therapist asks variations of the same questions. Why did you feel the need to say that? What reaction were you hoping for? Did you consider how it would make him feel? I keep giving the same answers. I wasn't thinking. I thought it was funny. I didn't mean anything by it. And she keeps pushing back. But you did say it. You did mean something by it, even if you didn't intend to hurt him. Words have meaning, especially words about betrayal. She makes me examine the pattern. All the times I compared him to celebrities. All the jokes about upgrading. All the comments about settling. You were slowly telling him he wasn't enough. That you were only with him because you couldn't get something better. How did you think that would affect him over time? I didn't think about it. That's the truth. I just said things without considering the cumulative impact, without thinking about how it felt to be on the receiving end, without imagining how I'd feel if he constantly told me I was his backup plan. She asked me once, if he had said he'd risk it all for a Victoria's Secret model, how would you feel? And I immediately got defensive. Said that's different. Said celebrities aren't real threats. But even as I said it, I knew I'd be devastated. I'd feel exactly how he must have felt. Inadequate, replaceable, not enough. I've tried everything to cope. Joined a gym to distract myself. Lasted 3 days before the anxiety got too bad. Started journaling to process my feelings. Lasted a week before I couldn't stand reading my own self-pity anymore. Tried meditation. Tried yoga, tried keeping myself busy. Nothing works. Nothing makes this better. My parents are losing patience. My mum said last week, "You need to move on. Find an apartment. Start rebuilding. You can't live in the past forever." My dad has started making pointed comments about taking responsibility for your mistakes and learning from consequences. They're right. I know they're right. But I can't seem to move forward. Can't accept that it's really over. Can't stop hoping that maybe if enough time passes, he'll forgive me. He'll realize I didn't mean it. He'll want to try again. But every day that passes makes it clearer that's not going to happen. He's moved on. He's firm. He made his decision, and he's sticking to it. While I'm stuck in this loop of regret and what-ifs and desperate hope. I saw him once from a distance about 2 weeks ago, at the grocery store. He looked fine, normal, not devastated or broken like I am, just going about his life like our relationship never existed, like losing me didn't even register. That hurt more than I can explain. I hid behind a display and watched him shop, watched him pick out vegetables and check prices and do normal everyday things. He looked peaceful, content, like he'd made the right choice and was better off, while I was a mess, hiding behind soup cans, hoping he wouldn't see me. I've stopped going out much, can't risk running into him again, can't handle seeing him be okay while I'm falling apart, so I stay home, stay in my childhood bedroom, exist in this weird limbo between my past life and whatever comes next. My job performance has gotten worse. Got another talk from my boss. We need to see improvement soon, or we'll have to make some difficult decisions. I'm on thin ice there too. One more major mistake, and I'll be unemployed on top of everything else. Friends have stopped reaching out. They tried at first. How are you doing? Want to grab coffee? Need to talk? But I was too depressing, too negative, too stuck in the same spiral. Eventually, they stopped asking. Now my phone barely rings except for my mom checking that I'm still alive. I've drafted probably 50 messages to him that I never send. Long explanations, short apologies, desperate pleas, angry accusations, every possible variation of "I'm sorry" and "please give me another chance." But I don't send them because I know he won't respond. Know he's done. Know that more messages will just prove I haven't learned anything. The nights are the worst. That's when the reality hits hardest. That's when I can't distract myself with work or errands or mindless TV. That's when I'm alone with my thoughts and my regrets and the full weight of what I've lost. I lie there in the dark, replaying everything. The look on his face when I said it, the calm way he packed my things, the sound of the door closing, the deadbolt clicking. Each memory is crystal clear. Each one cuts just as deep as it did the first time. I've thought about what I would say if I could talk to him one more time, rehearsed it 1,000 times in my head. How I'd explain that I understand now, that I see what I did wrong, that I realize the pattern of disrespect I created over time, that I know saying I'd risk it all wasn't just a joke, it was a revelation of something toxic in how I thought about us. I'd tell him that I understand why he left, that he deserved better than someone who constantly compared him to impossible standards, that he deserved better than someone who joked about his inadequacy, that he deserved someone who valued him as much as he valued them, that he was right to walk away. I'd tell him I'm sorry, really sorry. Not sorry that he overreacted, or took it the wrong way, or was too sensitive. Just sorry. Sorry for what I said. Sorry for the pattern I created. Sorry for making him feel like he wasn't enough for years before that final comment destroyed everything. Sorry for taking him for granted. Sorry for treating his commitment like it was guaranteed no matter how carelessly I treated him. But I'll never get to say any of that, because he won't talk to me, won't see me, won't give me the chance to apologize properly. And maybe that's what I deserve. Maybe I don't get closure. Maybe I don't get to make myself feel better by apologizing. Maybe the consequence of destroying something is living with the fact that it's destroyed and can't be fixed. The hardest part is accepting that I did this to myself. Nobody else is to blame. Not him for being too sensitive. Not social media for normalizing thirst culture. Not my friends who laughed at my jokes. Just me. I made choices. I said things. I created a pattern of disrespect that culminated in one sentence that ended everything. That's on me. All of it. I destroyed something real for something fake, destroyed commitment for fantasy, destroyed a man who loved me for a celebrity who doesn't know I exist. And now I'm living with the consequences of that choice, living in my childhood bedroom, living without the person who made me happy, living with the knowledge that I had something good, and I threw it away because I thought there were no consequences for my words. But there were consequences, massive life-destroying consequences, and I'm living them every single day. I imagine alternate versions where I kept my mouth shut, where I thought before I spoke, where I valued what I had instead of casually joking about risking it. In those versions, I'm still in our apartment, still in our bed, still in a relationship with someone who loved me. But those are just fantasies, cheap ones like he said.